Hello everybody, my name is George Williams and I'm the Next Search Catalog Coordinator at Northeast Kansas Library System, and today I'm going to talk about checking items out, and I'm going to do a demonstration of how checkout works and what some of the different checkout options are. Some of the things that I will be covering in this video are checking out items in normal situations, the checkout settings. I'll talk about obstacles caused by circulation rules and not for loan items and requests on items. And I'll talk about obstacles caused by uncatalogued items. But I am not going to talk about obstacles caused by borrower issues, like borrowers' fees, overdue items, restrictions, expired borrowers, or deleted borrower accounts, or any notes and messages on a borrower account. I'm just going to talk about checkout and items and how items relate to checkout. So let me start by showing you where to find the checkout menu. So you can reach the checkout from the circulation menu by going to the circulation menu by clicking on the circulation in the top left corner of the screen, or you can click on the circulation icon, the big button in the middle of the home page. And once you're at the circulation menu, you'll see checkout as the top item on the list, and you can click on that and it will take you to the actual circulation checkout menu. But when you get there, you'll realize that the checkout menu is incredibly simplistic. It's merely a flexible search bar at the top of the page that's set by default on check-in. Well, the search bar on the home page is already set with checkout, so there's really not ever any reason to go to the actual menu for checkout on the circulation menu, because it's all over the place, because checkout is one of the important functions of the system. So you can find checkout in the flexible search bar at the top of the page in circulation, patrons, advanced search, item search, lists, course reserves, cataloging, serials, reports, tools, and Koha administration. They all have checkout as one of the options in the flexible search bar. And in many of those, it is the first option in the flexible search bar. Not all of them. Some of them you have to flip around in the menu a little bit. So how to check out? Let me flip over to the actual system and I'll show you how to check things out. So I've got a borrower's card here and I'm going to scan the card and it'll take me to that borrower's account. If the borrower doesn't have the card, if I have to look them up by name, I can type their name in there and that will do a patron search. And once I get that, if I type the name exactly, it'll take me straight to their account. If I just do a last name, it'll give me a set of options usually. And there's the one I want, and if I just click on the card number, that'll take me straight to checkout. And then once I'm there, all I've got to do is scan an item, and it's going to check that item out to that borrower. And you'll see right here it says checked out, guide to ethics and acquisitions. It's got the card number or the item number, and it's got the due date all right there in the under the checkout input box. So there is also this checkouts table, and you can see here this borrower has 5 items checked out. If we click on that show checkouts, that will open up the checkouts table and it will show me everything that's checked out to this borrower. If I scan another item though, it's going to go back to that default view. The way most libraries and most staff want that checkout table to appear every time after they scan an item. So you can check this little, if it's not already checked, you can check this little checkbox that says always show checkouts immediately. And that way the checkouts table will always load after you scan an item. Depending on how your browser is configured, you may have to check that checkbox like the first time you check out to a borrower every day. It just depends on how your browser is configured and whether or not you're using Firefox or Chrome and all those kinds of things. But that's the way to get it to show up immediately, is click that little checkbox that says always show checkouts immediately. So one of the other things I can show you when I'm here is you notice that all of the items, these are books that I'm checking out, and we're checking out from Northeast Kansas Library System. All of our items check out for, I believe it's 3 weeks. I believe the 19th of September is 21 days from today. So what would happen if I needed to check something out to a borrower and they needed it longer? For whatever reason, our library was able to give them this book for longer than normal. You can click on this Checkout Settings drop down here and specify a due date. Maybe for whatever reason, I can't think of a situation, but maybe they need to keep it until Halloween of 2024, and that's within the rules at your library. You can make those changes there in that specify due date, and then scan an item, and that item will now be due on 10/31/2024, or whatever date you put in there. And the date will persist here. It'll keep using that same date as the checkout date until I click this little red X next to it. Then the next item after that, I click that little red X to clear that date. Then things will go back to the normal date. Another thing I can show you here, though, is that if we make a change here back to October 31st, 2024, there's this other little checkbox here that says use this date until the browser is closed. If you check that little checkbox there, every borrower for the rest of the day that you check out, it's going to put that date in there. And the only way to get that to stop is to close the browser, close out of Firefox or Chrome or whatever it is you're using. Or you can uncheck this and clear the date, and that will also put things back to normal. But that's a very dangerous thing to do there. Times where that would be legitimate to do is maybe there's an emergency and all of a sudden the library, without any forewarning, you know that you need to close on the date that these books would normally be due. And so you want to make all of those things due on a date you're actually open. You can set that and leave it that way for the whole day. That's one case where you might want to do that. Just be aware that if you do use these settings, that it'll keep that date until you click the X, and if you click that little checkbox there, it'll keep that date until the end of the day. So let's clear those. And then once those things are all cleared, when you check things out, it goes back to the normal, following your normal circulation rules. Now, one of the things that might happen when you're checking things out, so far these have all been normal checkouts. There haven't been any error messages or any blocks. I'm going to check out this item. This item is already checked out to this borrower. So what the system is going to do is it's going to say, please confirm checkout. It's asking you, do you want to renew this item? And it gives you the option yes or no. If the item isn't eligible to be renewed, if it's already been renewed too many times, it'll still give you a message saying yes, renew, or no, don't renew. It'll be a different wording because it's going to say this item has already been renewed more than X times, and then it'll give you the option to renew. The one case where it won't let you renew something is if somebody else has a request on that item. So let's just say yes, renew, and it's going to renew that item. So there's another situation that might happen. Maybe you're busy at the circulation desk. You've had a whole bunch of people come through, and you move on to the next borrower. And instead of putting the cursor back up here in checkout to switch to a new borrower, you accidentally scan the next borrower's card here. that's not a problem. It will switch you to that borrower. When you scan a card that and a card number that isn't an item, when you scan a barcode that isn't an item, the system is going to look through all of the existing items. It's going to say this isn't an item, and then it's going to very quickly look through all of the patron card numbers and say, oh, this belongs to a patron, switch to that patron. And that's what happened there. And you'll get this little yellow message up here that says the patron was automatically switched by reading this patron's card during checkout. Make sure that you're checking out to the right person. So that's the important part of that message. Make sure that you're actually checking things out to the correct person. And that's what that error message there is there to warn you about. Make sure you're doing things right. So let me go back to our first borrower, and we'll check out another item to him. There we go. So your borrower's done, and this is the last item they've checked out. They've checked out 11 things today. That's enough stuff for them. So they're done, and they're going to leave the library, and they're going to walk away from the computer. All of this stuff that's on the screen here is confidential information. And if you leave that just sitting there, I know that most of the libraries in Next Search Catalog, people can walk up and they can see what you're looking at on the screen at your library. So, in order to protect borrower confidentiality, a good practice is to, when you're done with a borrower, there's a little X here to the right of the input box. If you click that, it clears the confidential data off the screen, and it puts the cursor up here at the top of the screen in the checkout box so that you're ready for the next borrower. So let me show you that again. In order to get all of this confidential information off of the screen, I scanned the wrong card. Let me scan the right card again. So in order to get all this confidential information off of the screen, when you're done checking out, it's not a bad idea to click the little X, and if you hover over it, it actually says clear screen, and that will reset the screen and get you ready for a different borrower. Many libraries have receipt printers, and when you're done checking things out to someone, you want to print a receipt. Next to the X is a little printer icon, and if you check that icon, it will print a receipt for what they've checked out today. I'm going to cancel that because I don't want to print it, and then it will clear the screen. So that's the value of that button. Let me show you that again. To clear the screen, you click X. To print and clear the screen, you click the little printer icon. Couldn't be simpler. There are some additional print controls, so let me go back to the borrower. You also have some other print options. The first option, they're all under this drop down here that says print. Full page summary, all receipt, all checkouts, and receipt today's checkouts. Those are the checkout options on the printing. Check-in slip is for things being checked in. But if we do print full page summary, this will print exactly what it says it will print, a full page summary. And let me reload that without the print dialog in there. What this prints, full page summary, gives you the borrower's name, card number, their address, their phone number, their email, their registration date, expiration date, everything, plus everything they've got checked out. If they have overdue fines or lost item fines, it will give you totals on those. If they have items that are overdue, it will give you totals. It will give you that information too. It is a true full page summary of everything going on with this account. And it prints not to a receipt printer, but to a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper is what it's formatted for. So that's print full page summary. Receipt all checkouts is everything that the borrower has checked out today and everything that they have out that has not been returned yet. If they have overdues, it'll have those on there. It's everything, all checkouts. And the receipt today's checkouts will only print a list of the things that they have checked out today. When you click on this icon today for printing and clearing the screen, that's the one that it prints, is receipt today's checkouts. But this icon does it and clears the screen when you're done. So those are all the what I call the normal checkout things. You are going to see situations though where you're going to have items that won't check out, that are where you're going to be blocked from checking something out because there's a problem with the item. So first I'm going to show you this item is being blocked. Please confirm checkout. Too many checkouts. 2 checked out. Only 2 are allowed. This item that I'm trying to check out to this borrower is an audiobook, and I've got the circulation rules for this library are set so that the borrower can only have 2 audiobooks at a time. They have 2 checked out on their account here. So this message is saying that the borrower already has 2. Checking this one out would put them over the limit. And it gives you an option: yes, check this out; no, don't check this out. Which option you choose is going to depend on the rules at the library where you're working. There might be some circumstances where it's okay, where you're allowed to override those circulation rules. So whether or not you do that is up to the library, the rules at the library where you're working. So that's one situation. I'm just going to click no. The next situation you might encounter would be a not for loan item. So this item that I'm going to check out to this patron right now, the message says item not for loan, and it doesn't give you an option to override that. The only way to override the not for loan message is to go in and somebody needs to remove the not for loan status. And there are some items, if your library uses the reference item type, anything with a reference item type in the system automatically has a not for loan setting on it. Another situation you might come across, an unfortunate situation you might come across, if you come across this one, there's probably somebody has made a mistake somewhere along the line. This is the message you will see. This one is saying, please confirm checkout. This item is already checked out to a different borrower. So here you have an option: yes, check this item out; no, don't check this item out. And the third one is no, don't check this item out, but put a hold for it for this patron on this item, so that when the person that does have it checked out returns it, then it will be on hold for this borrower. Which one of these you do is going to depend on the situation, and it's going to depend on the rules at your library. I can imagine circumstances, and I've lived through these circumstances, where the reason that you get this message is because the person that wants to check it out, their next door neighbor gave it to them and said, hey, you should take this to the library and check it out yourself, so that you can read it because it's a good book. And so then they bring it to the library and they go to check it out, and you get this message that it's checked out to somebody else, and that's because they're returning it for somebody else and they want to read it too, so they want to borrow it afterwards. You know, those kinds of situations happen. Maybe it's checked out to a spouse, and now they want to read it. The spouse is done with it, and now the other spouse wants to borrow it. Or an unfortunate possibility is that the patron pulled it off of the shelf and that it got shelved without being checked in. There are all kinds of situations. And so how you deal with this is going to depend on the rules and the situation and what's going on at your library. The next situation you might come across, this is an item that somebody has placed a hold on it, but the hold has not yet been filled. So this promoting individual and community health at the library. Let's say that somebody at home was looking through the catalog and they saw this title and they put a hold on it at 8 o'clock in the morning. And at 8:15, somebody else is in the library and they pull it off the shelf and they bring it to the desk and they want to check it out. The item has a hold on it that hasn't been even triggered yet. So the system is saying, hey, somebody has a hold on this, and you have to decide how to proceed. Do you check it out? Do you not check it out? Do you cancel this checkout and place a request for the borrower? So if you click on yes, checkout, you've got an option up here that you can choose too, which is cancel hold. So if you do this, if you do yes, check it out, and cancel the hold, the person that requested the item, their request will be canceled as soon as you click on yes. If you don't click on cancel hold, then when this checks out to the patron that does not have a hold on it, the hold will remain, and when that patron that borrows it returns it, the hold will be filled when the item gets returned. Once again, this is going to depend on the situation and the rules at your library. Another situation that I've seen like this is, well, actually, that's a different situation. Let's move on. So this is a hold that has not even been triggered. This is a hold where the item is in transit. Please confirm checkout. This item is on hold for another patron, and it is in the process of being transferred to this library. So here we've got a choice: revert the hold and revert the transfer status and check it out, or cancel the hold and check it out. And again, what you do here is going to depend on the situation, and it's going to depend on the rules at your library. And the final one that's related to checkout and holds, oops, get in the right position there. This one is already waiting on the hold shelf. Please confirm checkout. This item has been waiting for another patron since 8/28/2022. Yes, check it out. Don't check it out and print a hold slip. No, don't check it out. And again, if you click on yes, check it out, you can revert the hold waiting status, which means that when you check this out to the borrower that's in the library that's handing it to you right now, if you leave it at revert waiting status, it means when that patron returns the item, it will be on hold for Montgomery Frosty again. Or you can cancel the hold status, in which case if you check it out, the hold for Montgomery Frosty will not be filled. So the most common reason that I see this one happen is because, let's say Bob and Marge are married, and Bob put a hold on this book, and Marge came to pick it up, and staff is checking it out, not on Bob's card, even though Bob had the hold on it, but they're checking it out on Marge's card, and Marge did not have the hold on it. In that case, what invariably happens is it gets checked out to Marge, staff leave the revert waiting status on it, and then as soon as Marge checks it in, it goes back on hold for Bob. And then Bob sends Marge back to the library to pick it up, and she goes, "Oh, I don't understand what's going on. We already read this." That's a pretty common situation. The best practice for any library is to only check things out to the people that request them, to make people use their library cards. I know that doesn't always happen, but these are the kinds of situations that you run into when you're checking things out. And then the very last thing I'm going to talk about is not a block related to holds, but this happens this is what happens if you try to scan a barcode that does not have an item record to go with it, or does not have is not a library card number. This is the dreaded barcode not found. So again, what you do here is going to depend on the processes and procedures that are in place at your library. How you react to this is going to depend on what you do at your library, because each library is a little bit different. But this is a barcode that is not in the system. The most common reason that barcodes are on a book and they're not in the system is because the barcode was put on the book, a patron checked the book out, they kept it overdue for more than a year, and then the item was automatically deleted from the catalog after 13 months. And then they returned it. And theoretically, those books should be caught when they're being checked in, but invariably, from time to time, those items turn up on the shelves, and somebody goes to try to check them out, and you end up with this barcode not found message when you're checking things out. And again, what you do there is going to depend on the processes and the procedures and the policies at your library. So this has been Checking Items Out. And again, my name is George Williams, and I'm the Next Search Catalog Coordinator at Northeast Kansas Library System. If you have any questions, or if you need to get in touch with us, all of our contact information is there on the screen. The best email address to ask for help is nexthelp@necklace.org. Thanks for your time.